lot of people say they want a different life. They want better health, more money, stronger relationships, greater confidence, more freedom, more peace. But they continue thinking the same way, reacting the same way, making the same decisions, and repeating the same patterns that created their current situation. You cannot consistently build a new life while protecting an old mindset. Before your circumstances change, something usually has to change within you. The way you see yourself, the way you respond to difficulty, the standards you accept, the excuses you tolerate, the beliefs you carry. Your life begins to change when your mind begins to change. Today, we're going to discuss why mindset is the foundation beneath almost everything else you're trying to build. Welcome to the Welz Project. I'm Welz, and this is Season 1, Episode 2. The Welz Project is built around truth, growth, resources, and real talk. The purpose of this channel is not to tell you what you're required to believe. It is to encourage you to examine information, look at life from different perspectives, and reach your own conclusions. In Episode 1, we asked an important question. Are your opinions really yours? We talked about inherited beliefs, repetition, social influence, authority, emotion, identity, and the need to belong. But recognizing outside influence is only the beginning. Once you begin questioning how your beliefs were formed, the next question is, what kind of mind are you going to build for yourself? Because independent thinking is not useful if you don't apply it to your own life. You can recognize manipulation and still manipulate yourself. You can question society while refusing to question your habits. You can identify other people's excuses while protecting your own. So today we're going to bring the conversation inward. Your life changes when your mind changes. The word mindset is used so often that it can begin to sound empty. People say, change your mindset, think positive, believe in yourself, raise your standards. Those statements may sound good, but what do they actually mean? Mindset is not pretending everything is fine when it's not. It is not ignoring real problems. It is not repeating positive phrases while continuing to make destructive decisions. It is not believing that every outcome is entirely within your control. Your mindset is the collection of beliefs, expectations, interpretations, standards, and mental habits that influence how you respond to life. Two people can experience similar circumstances and interpret them completely different. One may see difficulty as proof that they should stop. The other may see difficulty as information showing them where they need to improve. One person may experience rejection and decide, I am not good enough. Another may decide, that opportunity was not right for me, but I still need to improve. The event matters, but the meaning you attach to the event also matters. The meaning can influence what you do next. The way you repeatedly speak to yourself can become a set of instructions. When you constantly tell yourself, I can't do this, I'm always unlucky, nothing ever works for me, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have enough money, I don't know the right people, I'm just not disciplined. Those thoughts can become more than temporary reactions. They can become permission to stop trying. They can become an explanation for every setback. They can become an identity. There's a difference between acknowledging a limitation and surrendering your identity to it. You may genuinely lack money. You may lack experience. You may not have the right connections. You may have made serious mistakes. You may have responsibilities that make progress more difficult. Those realities should not be ignored. But the question is, are you treating your current limitation as a condition you need to address or as a permanent definition of who you are? I do not know how to do this yet. It's different from I am incapable of doing this. I made a bad decision. It's different from I am a failure. I am struggling right now. It's way different from my life will always be this way. The words may sound similar, but they lead the mind in different directions. People sometimes remain in situations they claim to hate because those situations are familiar. Familiar does not always mean comfortable. Sometimes familiar means predictable. A person may complain about the same job, relationship, financial situation, routine, or personal habit for years. They may genuinely want change, but change creates uncertainty, and uncertainty can feel more threatening than a familiar struggle. You know how your current life works. You know what to expect. You know the excuses. You know the routine. You may not like it, but you understand it. A different life may require you to become someone you have never been before. More disciplined, more honest, more patient, more courageous, more responsible, more willing to learn, more willing to look inexperienced, more willing to fail publicly. That is where many people become stuck. They want the reward of transformation without the discomfort of becoming a different version of themselves. One reason change is difficult is that people keep using their past as evidence against their future. They say, I tried before. I always quit. I have never been consistent. I have made too many mistakes. I've wasted too much time. But your past only proves what happened before. It does not automatically determine what must happen next. Your past may reveal patterns that need to be addressed. It may show where you lack discipline, knowledge, planning, support, or self awareness. You should learn from that evidence. But learning from the past is different from allowing the past to become a life sentence. You're allowed to become someone who behaves differently. You are allowed to change your standards. You are allowed to outgrow an identity that no longer serves you. But you cannot merely announce that you are different. You have to create new evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you create evidence. Every time you complete something you normally abandon, you create evidence. Every time you respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally, you create evidence. Every time that you tell the truth when an excuse would be easier, you create evidence. Confidence is not always something you find before taking action. Sometimes confidence is built after you repeatedly prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Taking responsibility for your life does not mean blaming yourself for everything that has happened to you. There are events you did not choose. There are disadvantages you did not create. There are people who may have mistreated you. There are systems, environments, and circumstances that can make progress harder. Recognizing those things is not weakness. But there's still a difference between asking, who caused this? And asking, what can I do now? The first question may help you understand the past. The second question helps you influence the future. You may not be responsible for the wound, but you may still become responsible for what you do with it. You may have not created the problem, but you still may be the person who has to solve it. Now, that may not feel fair, but waiting for life to become fair before you take action can keep you trapped. Responsibility is not always about guilt. Sometimes responsibility is simply recognizing where your power still exists. People often focus on goals. They want to lose weight, start a business, save money, improve a relationship, learn a skill, become more disciplined. But a goal is something you want. A standard is what you consistently accept. You may not want to clean a home, but if you continually accept disorder, the disorder remains. You may want financial stability, but if you accept impulsive spending and avoid looking at your finances, the instability remains. You may want respect, but if you repeatedly tolerate disrespect without establishing boundaries, the pattern may continue. You may want progress, but if you accept breaking every promise you made to yourself, your goals will remain wishes. Your current life is not always a perfect reflection of your standards because circumstances matter. But over time, you repeatedly tolerate what often becomes part of your normal life. Changing your standards does not mean becoming harsh or unrealistic. It means deciding what behavior you are no longer willing to normalize within yourself. Many people believe action should begin after confidence arrives. They are waiting to feel motivated, ready, certain, inspired, fearless. But those feelings may not come first. You may have to begin while uncertain. You may have to speak while nervous. You may have to learn while feeling unqualified. You may have to take the first step without knowing exactly where the 10th step will lead. Readiness is sometimes created through movement. You gain information by acting. You discover problems by beginning. You develop competence through repetition. You learn what needs to change by testing what you currently know. That does not mean acting recklessly. Planning matters. Research matters. Preparation matters. But preparation can also become a hiding place. At some point, you have to move from thinking about change to participating in it. Motivation can be useful. It can help you begin. It can remind you of what's possible. It can give you emotional energy. But motivation changes. Some mornings you will feel focused. Other mornings you will not. Some days your goals will feel exciting. Other days they will feel inconvenient. If your progress depends entirely on how inspired you feel, your progress will constantly stop and start. That is why mindset has to move beyond emotion. You need principles, you need systems, you need routines, you need standards. You need to decide what you will do even when you do not feel like doing it. The question is not only, what do I want? The question is, what am I willing to do consistently? Mindset is important, but mindset alone is not enough. You can have strong intentions and still place yourself in an environment that constantly works against them. If you want to reduce distractions, but keep every notification turned on, Your environment is working against your goal. If you want to eat differently, but continue surrounding yourself with the same convenient choices, your environment is working against your goal. If you want to think independently, but consume information from only one perspective, your environment is working against your goal. If you want to improve your confidence, but spend every day around people who mock every attempt you make, your environment may be working against your goal. You may not be able to change everything around you immediately, but you can begin asking, what is making this behavior easier? What is making the better behavior harder? What can I remove? What can I add? Who influences me? What information am I repeatedly consuming? What routine continues leading me back to the same result? A stronger mindset should eventually produce better decisions about your environment. Here are 5 areas you can examine when you are trying to change your direction. 1. Identify the story. What story have you been repeatedly telling yourself? That you are behind? That no one supports you? That success is for other people? That you always ruin opportunities? That you cannot change? Write the story down clearly. You cannot challenge a pattern you refuse to name. 2. Separate facts from interpretation. What happened? And what meaning did you attach to what happened? The fact may be, my business failed. The interpretation may be, I am not capable of running a business. Those are not the same statement. One describes an outcome, the other turns the outcome into an identity. 3. Identify what is still within your control. You cannot control everything. But what can you control? Your preparation, your effort, your schedule, your spending, your response, your willingness to ask for help, your decision to learn, your boundaries, your consistency. Focus your energy where your actions can still matter. 4. Create one new standard. Do not attempt to transform your entire life overnight. Choose one standard. You may decide, I no longer leave important tasks unfinished without rescheduling them. I no longer spend money without knowing what is available. I move my body every day. I stop making commitments I don't intend to keep. I give myself time to think before reacting. One standard practice consistently can begin changing how you see yourself. 5. Build evidence. Do something that supports the identity you're trying to create. Not next month. Not when conditions are perfect. Today. Read 10 pages. Walk for 20 minutes. Make the phone call. Create the budget. Apply for the opportunity. Clean the space. Research the skill. Finish one task. Small actions may not look impressive from the outside, but repeated actions tells your mind, we behave differently now. A changed mindset is not simply positive thinking. There are times when optimism becomes avoidance. Telling yourself everything will work out does not replace preparation. Believing in your business does not replace understanding customers. Wanting better health does not replace changing your habits. Having faith does not always remove the responsibility to act. A useful mindset should help you see reality more clearly not escape from it. Sometimes the most empowering thought is not everything will be easy. It is, this may be difficult, but I can prepare, learn, adjust, and continue. That belief is not based on fantasy. It is based on capability. When you begin changing, resistance will appear. Some of it will come from within you. You may feel tired, uncertain, embarrassed, impatient. You may miss the comfort of your old routine. Some resistance may come from other people. They may question your changes, remind you of your past, accuse you of thinking you are better than them, becoming uncomfortable because your growth changes the role you used to play in their life. Not every critic is an enemy. Some may raise legitimate concerns. You should remain willing to listen. But you also need enough self-awareness to recognize when someone is offering useful feedback and when they are simply trying to return you to the version of yourself that made them uncomfortable. Growth may require you to disappoint people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. It may require you to stop explaining every decision. It may require you to continue even when no one applauds. Here's your challenge after this episode. Choose one area of your life where you keep saying you want change. Then answer these questions honestly. What do I say I want? What do my repeated actions show that I currently accept? What story am I using to explain why I have not changed? What part of the situation is outside my control? What part is still within my control? What is one standard I can begin practicing today? And what action would create evidence that I'm becoming a different person? Do not attempt to redesign your entire life in one day. Choose one area, one standard, one action. Then repeat it long enough for it to become part of who you are. Your life may not change immediately because you changed one thought. Real life is more complicated than that. Circumstances matter, resources matter, opportunity matters, health matters, timing matters. Other people's choices can affect you, but your mindset influences how you respond to all those things. It influences whether you prepare to procrastinate, whether you learn or make excuses, whether you adapt or remain stuck, whether you treat a setback as information or as a permanent identity. Changing your mind does not guarantee that everything will go your way. It changes the person who will meet whatever comes next. And that person may become more capable of creating a different outcome. In the comments, answer this question. What is one belief about yourself that you know you need to change? You do not have to share anything deeply personal. Share only what you are comfortable of sharing and keep the conversation respectful. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when the next episode drops. I'm Welz. This is the Welz Project. Think deeper, live better. Truth, growth, resources, real talk. Peace and love.